You have reached Reflect Live podcast. I am your host, Michelle Nelson, and today I have Renee Michaels with me. How are you, Renee?
I'm good now.
We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but you know what? In the name of Jesus, we came on. So there's
Praise
that.
God.
That's what happens when you go live. You just never know. And of course, I chose that kind of platform to where all things can happen. Why not?
Keeps it interesting.
It keeps it interesting, and you test your patience. And hey, but we
Yes,
won, didn't we?
we did.
Yeah.
Yes, all right.
Oh goodness. So how have you been?
Cold, but I'm sure you have too.
Right?
Yeah, I don't like
Are
much
you
weather.
a warm weather or cold weather person?
I am moderate weather. I don't like it too
Okay.
hot, and I definitely don't like it cold. So I
Okay.
like it in between. I don't want to get me up into the 90s and hundreds. No, I'm not happy with that either. Just keep me nice in the middle.
That sounds good. Now you're in Oklahoma, right?
Yes.
Okay. What's the weather like there?
Well, it's cold, and we're not. I don't think we're getting because you're in Missouri, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you guys have snow.
Yes.
We do not have snow. We've had threats of snow or like teasers of snow, but we've not had anything really settle. We had a little bit of dusting, but nothing to settle, and the roads have been mostly great. On Tuesday, I had an interview with the news station in Tulsa, and fortunately, my husband took off work to drive me because the roads were horrible. But it really wasn't like heavy, but just it
Good.
froze so fast. So we usually get a lot of ice, more so than just snow.
Right. Yeah. I live in the Springfield Branson area,
Hmm.
and that's the same way. We get a lot of ice and more than snow, but this time we got quite a bit of snow. But
I
I
prefer
want to
snow.
get into your exciting career.
Well, let's
So,
go.
yeah. So I want to talk about your upcoming show or upcoming movie, Holy Flicks.
Hmm.
But first, just tell us a little bit about how did your journey begin as an actor?
Well, of course, it's not much different than most people's,
Mm.
dreaming, young girl dreaming of being in the spotlight on stage or on screen. I love watching movies, and I would imitate the actors. I would act out like entire scenes by myself, doing this whole, like, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Like, I would do this, and getting lost in an imaginary world. So I think that it was something that I was just, even as a child, God was preparing me to jump into this career without even realizing that's exactly the direction I was going to be headed.
Wow. Do you remember your first part or a play or movie? Like, do you remember your first one?
I do. I was in elementary school, and I vaguely remember it because we had like a lot of different activities in elementary school where you would dress up. But if I'm correct, I think that my first one was I was a little Dutch girl because I remember wearing wooden shoes. So I think that was the first one, but it could have been when I was like a tree or something. I don't. I know. I remember the wooden shoes.
Okay. How do you remember walking in them? I couldn't even imagine.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I loved them so much because I remember walking down the hall in the school with them without even having, like, it wasn't even time to put them on. And I just wanted to wear them.
You're just practicing, saying, I'm
I was
gonna.
practicing.
That's right. That's right. Well, that is fun. What was do you have a memorable or challenging experience from the earlier days that maybe somebody that's trying to go in this career that you could give them some kind of advice?
I mean, there's always going to be challenges, and this is just a hard industry to be in. There's a lot of competition. Everybody wants to be famous. And I think that actually, I find that, in my opinion, my experience, that desiring fame is not the correct way to go into it. You become an actor because you can't imagine doing anything else. Like, there's
Okay.
nothing else that I could do that would bring me the same satisfaction, until the Lord calls me into something else. This is where I'm supposed to be. And I feel like if somebody is questioning whether or not they feel like they want to be an actor, that's a good question to ask. Is there something else that you would also enjoy doing? Maybe you should do that, because this is a tough business, and it you meet a lot of people who will stab you in the back. There's a lot of people that will take advantage of you. There's a lot of people that will knock you down, telling you, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not, there's all that kind of stuff. So you really have to develop a thick skin. And if you don't have that ability to
Mm,
do that, then, maybe it's not really the business to be in.
mm, yeah, that makes sense. Um, one thing that I want to ask you, and then I'm going to show you the clip from Holy Place. But how do you connect with a character on a personal level? Like, how do
Um,
you emotionally, whether it's physically?
mhm. If I have the opportunity to look at the entire script, say, usually when I'm preparing a character, it has to be really quick because of an audition. But when I get a role, usually I'm studying the script, trying to find out as much about this character as possible, trying to find things that we have in common, so that I can relate. I can figure out, how would this feel to, in this instance for this character at this time. And I just try to relate on that level. I'm not a method actor, so I don't like go all in and, lose myself completely in a role. I try to, that's kind of dangerous in my opinion. So I just try to do my best to relate as much as possible. And even if there's something going on with the character that I can't relate to, I will try to find, well, how would they feel at this moment, and kind of relate it to something maybe I felt that way. I know what that feels like, so I can bring that in.
Okay, so I want to share. Here's one that I could totally relate to.
Okay.
I enjoyed watching this one. Let me share my screen here. Okay, this is one of my favorites.
That's okay. I got the dishes. I'll clean up after you too. Okay, thank you. Hey, Mom. Thanks, Mom. We're just gonna take some text, Mom.
Thank you, Mom. You are the greatest. Oh, thank you. Love you, Mom. See you later.
Bye.
That is one of my favorites. I absolutely love that. So, when we're talking about connecting on an emotional level, like you had a lot of facial expressions, and how did you connect with that character, with that scene?
Well, I'm a mom, so I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Your kids going off and being focused on something else and feeling a little bit taken advantage of, but not like angry about it, just like, here we go again, that kind of a thing. And it did help with direction too. The director was really helpful in how he wanted it to be done. I like the voice, like the whole like, that little
Yes.
voice kind of thing. He was like, let's do it like this. But that's kind of part of the preparation. You think you're going to do something one way, or you feel like you would do something one way, and then the director helps you and says, hey, we're going to do it this way. Or but again, I connected with that character because she's a mom, and I get it. I understand that
I
feeling.
totally
So
could connect
was
with that
not
character,
hard.
and I probably made those same facial expressions if you ask my kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But mine didn't come back
I
and
probably
kiss
had
me
some
and
of
say I
those.
love you. That didn't happen.
No, that was fantasy.
That was fantasy. Oh goodness. And we have someone in the chat just says I can relate to that too. So that was such a great scene. Now let's talk about the service dog. That's actually your service dog, isn't it?
Correct. Yes, it is.
So
Yes.
tell us about your service dog, and like how did it get a part in the movie?
Her name is Harper, and she's 3 years old, and obviously she's a Doberman Pinscher. How it happened, so usually, I shouldn't say usually, sometimes when I audition for a role and they say, yeah, we want her, and then they find out that I have a service dog, sometimes what happens is, oh, never mind, it's not going to work. So when the director called me and he said, hey, your agent told me that you have a service dog, and I was like, well, I have tools that I can use to cope with any episodes that I might have, because I had to do it before I had her. It just makes things more complicated. So I told him, if I have to leave her, it's fine. I will, because I was not going to lose this role.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'll just prepare myself. I have the tools to manage if I have to. And he's like, no. He goes, I love it. I want to make your character have a service dog too. And so I was very excited about that. But I didn't know to what extent or what that would look like, and then, they, like that scene that they did, that was probably one of the first ones with her with the baseball, was one of the first ones that they shot. And that was the second take, I believe. And she, on her own, picked up the ball and tossed it. the first time she picked it up and didn't give it back. And the second
Mhm.
time we did it, she's like, oh, I get it. We're supposed to let it go. And so
Oh.
she rolled it back to him. But so that was, and I love that they really included her that much. So she's
Mhm.
in the film itself, she's got a lot of little cameos, they did a little insert shots.
Mhm.
And then they even rewrote the script where my character is explaining
Mhm.
the service dog, which was really nice. So it's not like, why is there a service dog there and nobody ever talks about it kind of situation. Like he rewrote it and we were able to talk about it. So that was really nice. And I've had her in another project. It wasn't really a full project. It was a commercial where they allowed her to be in it with me, which was really nice. And she doesn't have to be in front of the camera. And that's what, I don't know if casting directors think that she has to be, because she doesn't. She can sit, and she's done it before, off in the corner, and she'll just kind of keep an eye on me from there. But yeah, I really love it when she gets to be a part
So
of it.
it's unique because I've never seen a Doberman as a service dog.
Correct.
There's always labs or,
Yep.
the stereotypical service dog.
Yes.
So why did you choose a Doberman? And being that breed, does that hinder you from getting roles just from the breed alone?
Well, to answer that one first, no, because people don't usually know I have a Doberman. When they see a
Oh,
service dog, they don't know because I don't tell them she's a Doberman. I just show up.
okay.
So most people don't realize, and most of the people that have met her on set aren't afraid because of the breed. So that's nice. But how we got her, or why I chose a Doberman, one, because I'm a little bit stubborn and I did not want to have one of the Fab Four, which are the common breeds that you would see as service animals. Not that I have anything against those dogs, because I love all dogs. It's just for me, I was like, I want to be different. I want to do something different. And I honestly, whenever we got her, right before we got her, my husband and I, we had 3 dogs already, and 2 of them were senior dogs. And then one of them was not a good fit. So we were actively looking for a very, nice home for him. And we had talked about, when our senior dogs passed, that we're just going to be without dogs for a while because it's a lot of work. So in the meantime, I was seeing a therapist and everything, and because of issues that I didn't realize, I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I was talking to a friend of mine about all of this stuff. And this friend lives in Missouri, in the Springfield area. And she's also a dog trainer. But she also has a service dog. She has similar issues that I do. And she was like, have you ever thought about getting a service dog? And I'm like, no, I never thought about that. So I went to my husband and I said, hey, this is what she said. And he's like, if you think it'll help you. So that was a, I felt like that was God. And then the search was on for what kind of breed. And I really didn't know. And he said, well, what about a Doberman? Well, and then I had gone to my therapist and talked to her about it. And she agreed too, because that's really important that you make sure you get your medical team on your side. And so anyway, he was like, what about a Doberman? I did some research. I didn't apparently do enough research, because all the stuff I was finding was like, oh yeah, she might work. And so one event after another, like God just opened the doors, like some amazing things that wouldn't have happened to confirm that this was the dog I was supposed to have. Had he closed those doors, I probably would have looked for a different breed, but he just showed us every step of the way. And it's a really cool story, but he just showed us every step of the way that, yes, you're supposed to have this dog. Looking back now and knowing what I know about Doberman, they're not ideal. Like, you'll see some, and there's always a unicorn. That's what they call them, unicorns. Dogs that, are outside of breed standard, but the Doberman standard temperament is not really great for service work, because they were bred for personal protection. So to work against that is really difficult. So she's very, very calm. Not all Doberman are that calm. She's been calm since she was a puppy. So it's just, there were things that worked in my favor that, had I known now about what I know about Dobermans, I probably would not have settled on a Doberman. So it was
Yeah. Oh, did we lose you?
totally gone.
Yeah, that's great. We might have just lost you. I can hear you. We just can't see you.
Uh-oh. I can't hear you.
Can you still hear me?
Live. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
See, I can't hear you.
Huh.
Things were going so well.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? This is part of the live stream that I absolutely. One moment, please.
Yeah, no.
Please. One thing about Renee, as I'm looking through my, see if I can help her out here. Can you hear me, Renee? No. One moment, please. Let's look here. Can you hear me? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to go on and talk about you. So you just do your thing and I will talk about you. So one thing what's really neat with Renee is that she does have a service dog and she takes it on set with her when she does do her roles. One thing that her and I had a conversation about is it is really challenging for her to have a service dog. Uh, just because I guess the stereotypical, a dog on set might ruin, you know, might ruin the scene. So there's just stereotypical scenarios of why there's a lot of times that she can't get apart because of, well, of course you don't want to say because of the service dog, but she's made a comment about how, oh darn, we don't need you anymore type of thing. So hypothetically, it was, um, but she does face that a lot. One of her current flicks that she has coming up is it's called Holy Flicks. And the scene that I just showed you guys of her making the faces, yes, mom, that I can totally relate to. Uh, that's from the Holy Flicks, and I'm hoping that she can come back on here and tell us, see if she knows when it's going to drop and when it's going to be live. But here's another scene from that show. Share my screen. Alrighty, here is another scene. There's Harper, and that was her service dog. I think it's really, really cool that it is a Doberman. I've been around Dobermans myself when I was younger. They're just really, really cool dogs. I've never seen them as a service dog, so I thought that was awesome. Oh, Christy said, can we turn up the volume on the clip? Well, thanks, Christy. You know what? I guess there is, I apologize. Let me see. I guess not, but what I can do, Christy, thanks. can put it, I can hear you on here. I don't know if that's Renee or not. Christy, what I will do is I will put it on Reflect Live podcast. I'll upload that clip on there. And then also we're at 10:30. So man, I was wanting to interview Renee more. And maybe what I can do is just do an offline interview. And then I will also post that on you can download any of the podcasts and listen to all your streaming devices. So we have um, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, anywhere that you stream your podcast, you'll get that. So I think that's what I will do for you all. I know that you're really looking forward to her live stream, but that's what happens when you live stream, right? You just never know what's going to happen. So I do apologize, but I will see if I can convince her, which it won't be that hard, that her and I can have an off live stream interview, and then I will upload that for everyone so you can listen to her and just what's up next, right? And if she has some information about Holy Flicks, that would be super cool because I really want to know when that's dropping. So I just want to say thank you. Do you guys have any questions before 10:30 hits that I can ask Renee off our live? Yes, I will definitely make sure that I give you information on that Holy Flicks movie. All right. Well, I do apologize that she had technical difficulty, but it is, but we will make up for it. So I hope that everyone has a wait, hold on. Wait, I think she might be back on. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Hello? Can you hear? Oh, we have Renee, can you hear? We're going to give her a few minutes. I don't care if it's past 10:30. I really wanted to do this interview with her. So, hey, Renee, can you hear? Hey, Renee, can you hear? Oh, I lost her again. Okay. All right. Well, I do apologize. Okay. I can hear you. Oh, bummer. All right. Well, Renee, if you can still hear me, let's catch up later so we can finish the interview because I have tons of questions that I want to ask. And if anybody else that has any questions, just put them in the Reflect Live podcast channel on Facebook and I will ask her. So I hope everybody has a blessed day. Thank you. Bye-bye.